Alright, it's morning of day 2 back here, second full day. We're gonna top up over the saddle here, and yesterday we saw a really nice bachelor group of bucks in there. They were there at very first light, and there was a really nice buck in there. So hopefully they're there again. If not, we're just gonna keep pushing through country and keep poking around. That second morning we woke up with high hopes. Seeing those bucks the previous morning was very encouraging. And sure enough, we spotted them right off the bat in all of about 5 minutes. The only difference today was they were starting to bed on the hill they were feeding on instead of dropping down into the canyon like the previous day. After 6 hours of waiting on the bigger buck to plop down in his second bed, it was finally time to make a move. He was in a great spot, and all I had to do was get around the basin. Things don't always go as planned, though, with bow hunting.
All right, Josh, tell me about your feelings.
Yeah, that didn't go as planned. You know, it's one thing to get busted in bow range, but it is quite demeaning to get busted across the basin. I got a little too close to this other group of deer that were bedded in this timber patch, and doe blew out, bucks jumped up, and they were on edge ever since then. And eventually they ended up, I tried to sneak my way through the basin, but I tried to go up, try to get out of view, try to do all that, but it was too little too late. They were already on edge and ended up bombing down the hill out of my life.
Until tomorrow.
Hopefully they're in there tomorrow. They've been in here every day, so we'll see. Until then, we're eating some snackies. I'm gonna hunt this side this evening, and hopefully something walks out. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bummed about how that whole thing blew up so soon. We put in the time watching those bucks, and it all went down the tubes in a matter of minutes, all because of some carelessness on my part. Bow hunting always provides lessons, and that was a hard lesson learned. For the rest of the day, we'd sit up high on our vantage point waiting to spot something. And eventually, we would. Alright, we've only got about an hour of light left. We got a small buck bedded out in the open over here, so Eric's making a run for it. Looks like a pretty good setup, so fingers crossed he can get above this buck and get an arrow in him. Okay, so both the buck and the doe are bedded down now. There's 2 deer, one small buck and a doe. They're both laying down now. I still don't have eyes on Eric. I'm hoping he's getting close. Fingers crossed, man. Good situation. Well, Eric got busted. Sounds like he made too much noise. Buck and the doe got up. They didn't run, but they just kind of got up and meandered not sure how close he got, but we're gonna find out here pretty soon. So awesome last minute of the day situation though.
What happened, dude?
Man, got within bow range of where they were, but they were not there. So by the time I got to the edge of the first patch of trees, doe was standing up looking at me. So I waited for her to finally move her head, then I dipped back into the timber, and there was enough cover that I could side hill over to them. But it was everything around the trees was knee high, just noisy, and we're losing light, so I had to hurry and be slow at the same time. Finally rounded the last bit of cover where I was 60, 70 from where they were, and they were not there, and they were the next ridge over, making their way away from me. So they didn't wind me, they didn't really know what I was, but knew they wanted to get out of there. But hey, arrow was knocked. All I needed was for them to stay there a couple more seconds.
Yeah, man, tomorrow's a new day.
It is. Bucks are all gonna be right back in here. Guaranteed.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready to get back to camp though.
Yeah, let's go to bed.
Bucks coming down here through here. I'm gonna run down, try to head them off. Now, normally with these early season bucks, I've always found that bedding them down is the best plan of attack. In this particular situation though, and based off where we knew the deer were headed, trying to cut them off was our best option. With the deer down low in a cut, my plan was to just sneak out to the edge and look down. Everything was going as planned, but just as I crept up to the edge, a doe caught me standing at 70 yards. She alerted the bucks, and they took off down into a hole. I was just a little too fast popping my head over. Having hunted like this with much success in Arizona, I'm a firm believer that if I would have been slower peeking over, I likely would have gotten a shot. That thinking is too little too late though. With this basin blown up, it was time to move on. Alright, so we got on those bucks this morning. That lasted all about 20-25 minutes. Got super close to sealing the deal on those guys. They ran down into a deep dark hole. So we came over to another basin, sat here most of the day, only turned up a doe. So now we're going to go check out some new country. It's a big north face that kind of sways into an east face. So kind of perfect habitat right there. And hopefully we find something, you know. We got all today, the rest of today, and all tomorrow, and then Friday morning left to hunt, so fingers crossed. With some time spent behind the glass in this new basin, we eventually turned up a few more bucks. They ended up bedding down in the shade of a tree on the edge of a meadow. With them being in what looked like a good spot, I started making my way over to them, racing the sun. just got back to camp. Another doozy of a day. It's like 10:30 right now. Went on a stalk at like 5 p.m. after those 2 bucks, and gosh, man, I just ran out of light. So I got a little bit aggressive there at the end. Got busted at 107. Pretty nice buck, but you know, bow hunting happens. So we got one more full day tomorrow, and then we have Friday morning to hunt. So hopefully in that time we can make something happen. We've been seeing bucks every day, getting opportunities. So I'm just gonna keep trying, keep hunting hard, and keep having a good time. But right now I am enjoying some hot cocoa right before bed. So cheers. So on this trip, my pillow decided that it was all done with its life and won't hold air anymore. All the inner seams ripped. So in order to have a pillow, I've been using my First Light jacket, and it's been working out. So this is my puffy. Lifesaver. Can actually get a good night's sleep now. Alright, so we're thinking that buck worked to the right because that was the general direction he was working anyways. So Eric is going to stay here and keep glassing, and he'll signal me if he sees the buck in a different spot. I'm going to go around to try to get a view of the face that he went onto. He's basically on the back side of this ridge. So I'm going to go around up top here and see if I can find him and relocate him. So it's coming down to the wire here. So if this was like the beginning of the hunt, I would just say, oh, we'll see this deer in the morning. But got to be time to be aggressive here. Try to make something happen. I just refound that buck. He rebedded.